So, what I wanted to talk about is political correctness, and I was waiting specifically for you. Just some background info. Recently, I've joined a couple Facebook groups, like completely everything. I already told you that, but you know, for curious. From like extreme right wing to complete anarchists, to moderate stuff, just to get out of my bubble a bit. Notably, and then anarcho-feminist group. So basically, let's say extreme feminist mainly.
Yeah.
That group is extremely, extremely politically correct. It is insane. Like to the point where myself get lost, yeah?
Like, do people point out when other people are not? Okay.
Like, within their boundaries, you know, like, I don't even want to go into it, but yeah, but like, where I'm like, kind of, I'm not bashing it, yeah? They, whatever. Okay, so that's that. And kind of, for a while, basically, it's not like, actually, you got a point, right? Like, politically correct. There's a point you're not offending people and so on, and I completely get that. But, I think that, on the other hand, like, informing myself on other channels and so on, yeah, I've been doing a lot of research and thinking on many different things. But basically, political correctness, goes against what these groups are kind of trying to achieve. Because what you, and I consider myself, at least to some degree, anarcho-feminists do go very far, yeah. But a feminist and so on, I'm not pro discrimination or so on. But my question towards you, it kind of is, there is the other argument in a way, like the argument for political correctness is you don't want to, offend and discriminate and so on and so on. But if you just forbid people from voicing their opinions instead of debating their opinions, because that's what political correctness is. It's like, you said black people are bad, you're not allowed to say that.
I think it's mostly about how you approach the issue. Like, it's interesting to me that, especially an anarcho-feminist group, is like particularly bent on enforcing rules. The irony here being
yes, exactly.
anarchism.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, a lot of it is in the way you actually make sure that the ideas are communicated. Because I agree with you on the point that basically shaming people and just like on Tumblr there's a thing called call-out culture, which basically boils down to exactly that. It's not a good thing and not a thing that helps the cause, but like political correctness as a term has kind of a difficult connotation. So yeah.
I mean, my point being, it would be. We all know what political correctness is, right?
No, like
you don't.
I mean, I do, but like, it has very many different meanings. It has many different interpretations. Like,
I don't think so. I think it's just a question of how strong.
No,
okay,
like,
then correct me.
I feel like it could be political correctness in language, in either policy, like.
Well, it's just language. Political correctness is nothing else in language. Political correctness is just about which words you use to describe things. It's about
exactly, and
it's about using like instead of disabled you use
and how does that
mentally
when I say language, I mean like usage, yeah.
Yeah, language, but that's the only thing. There is no policy or whatever.
Like for example, like, couldn't you say like, okay, yeah, yeah, political correctness is. Okay, yeah.
Political correctness is about banning words or.
So basically, what we're agreeing on is that political correctness is the policing of language.
Yeah.
And I think
in the goal of not offending or discriminating people who are.
Well, I mean, I think that words do carry power and connotations, so.
Oh, definitely.
Thinking about what you say and how you say it is important.
Definitely.
And as such, also educating people on what certain words mean or what connotation words carry. But at the same time, I think that's what you've been seeing is like the brute force kind of method of just banning words altogether. Is not always appropriate.
But I mean, I've seen that. Actually, I'm saying it's more. I mean, like, I don't know. That's very specific, but in general culture, political correctness is about banning, and it's not about much communication or education.
It is, yes.
And I see really that as an issue because like all these people who have racist and so on feelings, maybe not. But I mean, like there is no blaming people who grow up in such in my eyes, yeah, such a surround environment or whatever. Like it's very hard if your two parents are both, I don't know, South, Texan ranchers who are still living, like you probably have a Confederate flag hanging. I'm stereotyping, yeah, but with a Confederate flag hanging on the walls and I don't know, instead of calling them Afro-Americans, just call them like ex-slaves. Very stereotyping, but you get my point. You kind of grow up with that kind of thing, right? So forbidding them to then use whatever word it is, I don't think is the point. The point should be to create a discourse to talk about the issues. Same goes for like migration or like.
Okay.
There kind of are two sides of this. Obviously, if you want to have a proper impact on the people that you're trying to talk to, you're gonna need to do more than just tell them no, you can't use these words because they're not gonna understand. Like fucking.
I mean, like all they will feel like is marginalized, and then where do you feel that in actions and in votes?
Yeah, but at the same time, also, I think there is a point to encouraging or wanting to have a certain tone with people, which is like I think it's always kind of an uncomfortable situation if you have people throwing trigger warning slurs.
Can you Google crippled politically correct?
You can always tell me.
Yeah, Google. Google crippled politically correct.
Crippled?
Cripple.
Crippled.
Do you see Melvin's back, by the way?
Is cripple meant to be a derogatory term? But that's
no, that's not my question.
Yeah.
Like there is a term, I don't even know what it is, which is the politically correct term for cripple.
Oh, that's like
disabled person.
no, differently abled. Is that?
That's the disabled.
Okay, so for crippled.
I don't remember right now, yeah. But for example, a cripple.
Disabled.
No.
No?
You definitely don't use a word which you're banning by replacing it by differently abled. Because then make it a different cripple. No, definitely not. I forgot right now, right? But whatever it is, it kind of implies that being a cripple is bad or something. Like, I don't see why cripple is offensive in a way because.
Well, I don't know about cripple, but I think the more apt example would be faggot.
Yeah.
Faggot is very often used derogatory.
Of course it is, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And even if it isn't specifically aimed at someone homosexual.
Yeah, most of the time it isn't.
Like,
yeah.
Normally
fucking faggot.
Yeah, normally it isn't, and it definitely has an impact on people.
Which is why I think, well, while banning is not exactly a pedagogical.
We can actually talk about that because me personally, I used to use faggot a lot, and not actually as an insulting term, but as a friendly term.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like you use. Let me continue. So I would call my friends, especially like when I was gaming, faggot. And then one day I found out that one of these people was actually gay, and actually in a very homophobic environment in real life, extremely homophobic environment. It was the weirdest thing ever because I was calling him faggot on like a colloquial joke basis, really not. I know that. I mean, I've also used the term as an insult. I am guilty of that too. I will admit that, but not most of the time. In that case, it really wasn't. But after that, it was the weirdest thing ever, right? Like I stopped using it. And you were like, "Yo, why you stop calling me faggot?" And I'm like, "Yo, why?" Am I meant to still that?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like for ugly, there's even like campaigns for not using the word ugly anymore.
Oh my god.
And that's where I'm like.
At that point, it's just like
because beauty, there is no question that there is a discrimination against ugly people. Beautiful. There's studies on that. Yeah, beautiful
looks
people
matter.
who are considered beautiful earn more money on average and so on. But beauty is partially defined genetically, partially defined by you.
Yes.
But beauty standards are socially defined.
Of course they are.
I am against discrimination on beauty standards, but at some point. Like, what does it change, right? Like, And I think you're better off telling people who are ugly to, I don't know, maybe put a bit more effort in whatever, smile more, like, because beauty is more than just your genes. Smiling, being happy, you know what I mean? That also makes part. So instead of being like, don't call ugly people ugly, I think you're better off going towards ugly people and having fun with them.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of political correctness boils down to don't be a dick.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
since don't be a
But
dick is a
don't-
very abstract and complicated thing, apparently, well,
Okay, another example. Stupid.
yes.
Is it incorrect? Is it being a dick if you call someone stupid? Yes. Is a teacher meant to call a child stupid? You know, a student stupid?
Yes.
Definitely not. If a teacher calls a student stupid, can it have an impact on that student? You know, like mentally.
Well, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing than that teacher calling a stupid child stupid towards his husband after school. And I am fine with that. I honestly am. For all I care, that guy is super creative. But
Okay.
then he's creative and he's logically stupid. Like, he's not a math guy. If a math kid is like, yo, I got the stupid, math teacher's like, I got the stupid kid in my. If you don't say that to the student, you don't say that to the parents of the student, he gets his grade and so on. But like, as long as towards the student you're kind of losing it, at some point, teacher comes home after his 9 hours of work and correcting papers for 4 hours, and is like, yo, this fucking stupid child who keeps trying to get cheap points by writing some random bullshit towards her husband or wife, his wife, whatever. Why should he be using like mentally slow instead, or I don't know what the word is, right? Like,
That
come
would
on.
probably be more offensive.
Or,
Exactly.
okay, whatever. Like,
But like, yeah,
at some point, you're meaning the same thing.
I think with political correctness, a lot of it is context sensitive and like, what the substitute words introduced by like people who advocate political correctness, they're meant to be used when you actually are serious about what you're saying. So like, I see this person, they're genuinely stupid, they just don't get things and like,
But I mean, there is
No.
a word for that, slow.
yeah,
Just
you
use
call them slow.
But
And then like,
that's not the word that politically correct people advocate.
no, but like the example that you mentioned is like, it's like, yeah, I'm stressed, I've had a long day at work, fuck, this kid is stupid.
Fuck it. Just okay. Take
That's
away.
like, no,
take
I mean
away,
like,
no, but take away the stress.
context.
I guess you okay, but take away the stress and so on. Just this kid is stupid. You have a teacher. This teacher calling that kid stupid, I'm definitely against, because that incites bullying. That incites that kid getting more. And so definitely no way. But he shouldn't say stupid in another word either towards that kid. Like, not in a politically correct way or a politically. They just, you don't call the kid stupid. Point in my eyes. Not as a teacher and not as a parent and that kind of stuff, right? Kids calling each other stupid. I mean, like, what do we do all the time? Come on. That's another thing.
Yeah, that's.
And, if there's no impact, I really don't see the issue is using the correct term.
In my opinion, political correctness is mostly stupid because,
That's
yes,
politically incorrect.
I don't care.
Call out post.
Because the most important thing behind any like word is that it's just word, it's just language, and the motive is the motive behind a person like saying it. It's how malicious it is. So if you're calling someone a faggot, if you mean malice with it, then yes, then you're in the wrong. But then if you're like joking around with friends, colloquial, oh my god, you faggot, yeah, no, that's not bad. That's not bad in my opinion.
I think it's very, very context dependent.
I think
But
Exactly.
I think there are exceptions.
faggot specifically might be an exception because of
Yes.
actual gays, which you might not be aware of, but that like being very, very, very specific.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, like, you have certain words that just carry a lot of historical weight.
Yeah.
Like a faggot, nigger. Sorry, sorry if you get triggered. Not my intention, but like these words have these historical connotations, and there might be people who just go into a straight up panic attack upon hearing that because they have things associated with that. And at that point, if that's a very common word that associates with that, it doesn't hurt you to not say like.
For nigger and for faggot, I would agree, but I can't think of much outside of that. to go back to your malicious intent, because the goal of politically correct people and of people like me too, my goal is to get rid of the malicious intent.
Yeah.
But I don't think you achieve that goal by banning words, because the people who use those words in a malicious way, either they still will, but like the malicious, their opinion is not going to change by banning their words. You might have an effect on future generations in some way, a little bit, but I really think that the effort should be on proving, I don't know why you would need any proof, but like proving again that black people aren't worse, and that Muslims aren't worse, and that women aren't inferior to men, and that,
That's something that doesn't require proof. That's
I
basic common sense, but yes, there are people.
to the people where it
you
isn't.
think so.
Yeah, you don't
I
think so.
think so, yeah.
That's why I'm saying proof why you shouldn't prove it, right? But I mean, like, take the proof and show it in their face.
Exactly.
That's what I mean with
I
that.
think the point of banning these words is less having the people who have malicious intent and who are bigoted and who are racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever, use them. Because they're gonna use them and they're fucking assholes anyways.
Exactly.
But instead not trivializing them. Because if you trivialize, let's say example faggot. Trivialize faggot, everyone says faggot. You're homophobic, you use faggot as an insult, well you see everyone using faggot. It's a good word, why should I not use it? Fucking faggot. I think that's where the idea of political correctness goes. And I think it's a thing you have to tread carefully with. But I do believe that in that way, not trivializing words that do genuinely hurt people.
I get your point, what's that?
Okay, then. So it's mostly don't generalize. Like, don't associate a word immediately with malice, But then that's difficult. That's easy for me to say, but because I have not, experienced that. People say that racism is one of those things that we just don't understand until like it happens against us. Yeah. I think so.
I disagree. I've never been. I mean, I'm white. I've never been discriminated for my race. I've been bullied for my acne. I can very well feel what it's like to. I honestly believe so. Obviously not in every way. Don't get me wrong. I'm a privileged white middle upper class, if not upper class kid. Yeah. Don't get me wrong at all. But I still think I can extrapolate from the time in my life to what it's like. I mean, and I can look at numbers. I can see that if there was a study saying that if you put this name you get it, and with a different name you don't get the job, with the exact same report, it was the exact same.
Yeah.
I can read that and I get it.
I guess my
And
point
I
is,
see the issue.
I mean,
Well, I think on an emotional basis, like you can have similar experiences and extrapolate, but you don't. So
actually you feel that.
I can see the bad and I can relate to find it, but I can't.
Anyway,
I can understand it, but I can't feel it. We can understand it, but we can't feel it. Yeah.
Like that's something a lot of people with mental illnesses talk about. Like, no, you don't get my illness.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I do not claim that in any way. Yeah.
So I think that's. Yeah, you can understand it cognitively, but not necessarily.
Like if I reading about schizophrenia doesn't mean that I know what it's like to have schizophrenia.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't comprehend it in any way because schizophrenia is much more personality, right?
It's like when you hallucinate a lot.
I think it's.
What
Well, we should talk about that another day.
Yeah.
Mental illnesses are an interesting
mental illness are
topics.
it's definitely one of the most. It's because mental illness might actually be one of those cases where I'm like. Actually, no. I do think that the word mental illness is actually not politically incorrect, but I think that it's used that some things which are considered mental illnesses are actually not, like ADHS or something.
ADHS is a mental illness, but let's get into that at another time.
Okay.
Let's get into that at another time.
Okay.
I agree.
Please.
Okay.
I agree.
So 20 minutes. I think maybe we should stop. Yeah. See you.